Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. This is the second episode addressing brown bear attacks after their reintroduction to the Alps of Italy and the implications introduction may have on places like Washington State in the United States. Today's episode takes us back to the Italian province of Trento, near an area called Lago di Lamara in the Dolomite Mountains. The Dolomites are in the southern Alps and feature valleys around 2,500 feet high in elevation with peaks that soar over 9,000 feet high. The climate here is mild, as mentioned in our previous episode, with temperatures rarely rising into the 80s and seldomly dipping below the 30s. The trees here include ash, beech, and sycamore, with the occasional evergreen displaying its splendor as well. Animals in this area include 3 types of deer, a unique little goat called the chamois, and a sheep species with massive horns called a steinbuck. There are a few smaller predators here, but none that raise the local ire, like the growing population of brown bears. This area is a popular resort spot with ski hills like Madonna di Campiglio, drawing visitors from around the globe. Tourism and hospitality are major industries here, but the balance between maintaining a brown bear population and attracting tourists has become tenuous to many local businesses and politicians. On July 22, 2017, 69-year-old Angelo Metlikovic was taking his 15-month-old dog out for a walk near the lakes. Kira was a half-Belgian shepherd and half-Bernese mountain dog that was his constant companion on hikes. Angelo was a retired plumber and was enjoying some free time in the forest with Kira. Angelo and Kira lived just below the steep hillside in the valley below the Lamar Lakes, or Lago di Lamara, as it's pronounced in Italian. It was a place they frequently went for walks to fill their lungs with the clean mountain air and refresh themselves from the confines and bustle of life in town. As Angelo and Kira walked down the trail, he got a strange feeling that something was bearing down on him, literally. Angelo turned just in time to see a huge brown bear sow closing in on him from only a few yards away. Now, no source I could find indicated that Angelo was packing bear spray or a firearm, so to say he wasn't ready to encounter the bear was an understatement. He was elderly and robust in his form and shape, which precluded his potential to try to outrun the bear. The only thing Angelo could think of doing, in the fraction of a second it took the bear to close in on him, was brace for impact. As the sow rapidly approached him, she latched her powerful jaws onto his leg and lifted him up a few inches. This caused him to fall straight to his back. She wasted no time in releasing her grip on his leg and moved her saliva-colored yellow teeth straight toward his face. Now, plumbers aren't exactly known for their reaction time, as it isn't important to their profession, but Angelo must have had quick reflexes. He crossed his arm over his face just before the bear could clamp her jaws on his head. Her canines tore through his elbow like a knife through butter, and she ripped chunks of his arm away as she tossed her head. Now fully aware that this bear was intent on killing him, Angelo knew the action he took just might be his saving grace, or his final grace. As the sow pulled his elbow away from his face, she immediately directed her jaws to his throat. But Angelo somehow beat her to the point of attack once again. He moved his arm across his throat, blocking her from tearing at the vital blood vessels and bones there. That is when Kira decided to intervene in her canine way. Call it instinct, or perhaps it was her love for her owner. Kira began darting and dancing in and out, barking at the bear, in a clear attempt to distract it. According to AKC guidelines, Bernese mountain dogs can stand 27 inches tall at the shoulder and weigh in at around 100 pounds, which can make them a physically imposing canine. As Kira barked, growled, and harassed the brown bear, the sow bit and tore at Angelo's arms and legs. Once the bear got her fill of Kira, she decided she would handle the nuisance Kira presented before the one Angelo presented. She chased toward the dog, giving Angelo just enough time to roll over a small cliff adjacent to the trail. During the confusion that Kira presented to the sow, she lost track of just where Angelo had gone to. She wandered off in search of her cubs, leaving the man bitten, gashed, and bleeding in the bushes, but alive. After being certain the sow had left him, Angelo made his way back down the steep hillside. He was treated at a nearby hospital for the severe bites to his arms and legs. With chunks of flesh torn from his arms during the attack, some nerve damage had occurred. Surgeons completed operations to help retain or regain the use of his fingers. Angelo tried to get some rest following the attack, but would wake up with terrors, claiming the bear was in front of him. As is most often the case following a bear attack, an investigation into the incident was initiated. Familiarity with the bears in the area led wildlife officers to believe it was a mean old sow, known as bear KJ2. She was suspected in an attack on a man in 2015, which will be featured on a future episode, so she was assembling a bit of a rap sheet with authorities. Investigators pulled hair and DNA evidence from Angelo's jacket for comparison to evidence gathered from bears caught in culvert traps deployed around the attack site. They stated that they would put tracking collars on all bears they managed to trap until the analysis of the DNA evidence was completed. Then they would track down the responsible bear and place it in a sanctuary or put it down. But they had tried this ploy on bear KJ2 before. In 2015, she was trapped and had a radio collar affixed to her neck after her attack on the jogger. She didn't take too kindly to the high-tech jewelry and somehow managed to pull it off of her neck. She'd been on the lam, so to speak, ever since. The provincial president, Ugo Rossi, issued a public statement regarding the spate of attacks in Trento. He stated that there were too many bears in the province and quickly signed orders to have KJ2 killed before she could injure or kill anyone else. And government trackers had completed their orders by Sunday, July 23rd, having tracked and killed bear KJ2. Italian animal rights group latched decried the killing of the bear on the altar of politics. Wildlife advocate groups organized a boycott of the resorts and products from Trento in an attempt to change how the province handled problem brown bears. Tourists from Great Britain, France, and Russia canceled their resort reservations as a gesture of support to the wildlife advocacy groups. Now at the center of the whirlwind, Angelo stated that he was saddened to see the sow killed. He'd hoped that she would simply be relocated, as she was only protecting her cubs from what she perceived of as a threat. Rossi was defiant about his decision, pointing out that bear KJ2 was dangerous and exhibited aggression toward people far too many times to let this attack slide. He conjured up images of a child being mauled by the bear, being necessary before activists would see the light. Regarding bear KJ2's cubs, there was no source I could find that indicated what became of them. Wildlife advocates claim that Kira likely aggravated the bear attack, but local residents claim they live in fear of brown bears. Many of them refuse to take their usual nature walks, just to avoid a possible confrontation with one. Brown bear reintroduction in the Italian Alps brings to the forefront many issues that other areas like Washington State in the United States may have to deal with. Is it possible to bring bears back to territories that they previously occupied, but expect them to tolerate human presence? Are bears supposed to somehow learn not to attack people when they are surprised and find themselves in close proximity to each other? Do you think we need to restore bear populations to their prior habitats, or should we accept that the species has strongholds in places like Yellowstone, Glacier, and Siberia? I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We've slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.